asking about a true 6 to 7 man wide receiver rotation and not hearing anything recently about Jameson Williams. Tony.
Just wait. Yeah, he'll be in the starting lineup. Looks like he'll be at the X, which puts Chris Olave still at the Z and Garrett Wilson at the H in the slot. And it's a new position for Jameson Williams, but he's looking forward to he's talked about he likes the physicality of it. And I think once he gets the ball, that's kind of the big thing with him is maybe there was some lapses in focus last year when the ball was in the air or getting to the ball. And we saw what he can do once he gets the football. And now you're putting him in a position where he's going to be playing half the game, at least while the game is still in doubt. And yeah, if there's not enough talk about him, maybe that's our fault, or it's just a process of camp, not having enough days in the week to get everything written and or podcasts up or videos to produce. But yeah, the expectations are very high for Jameson. Where and I talked about this in my podcast this week. Like the typical X at Ohio State may get, like, if they were to get 6 catches in a game, you're looking at like 72, 75 yards. You give Jameson Williams 6 catches in a game, and probably one of them is going for 40 yards, if not 80, or so 6 catches with him is going to be much different than 6 catches with Benjamin Victor or Austin Mack. And so I think people should be very excited about him. And then behind him, I think it'll be freshman G. Scott Jr., who is, already looking physically like a freshman David Boston, which is we don't need to go further into that comparison, but just a physical dude, as we saw in the circle drill video that Ohio State posted on Twitter this week.
So, Kevin, David Greenshield is asking about the third receivers. So, Tony, you're basically saying it's Jameson Williams behind Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
Yeah,
I agree. We have heard a lot about Jameson Williams as much as we can in terms of getting out there last Saturday and seeing stretching and things along those lines. But according to everybody that we've heard from and just talking to people, Jameson Williams really seems to be that third guy. I could see somebody being more of a possession type of receiver behind Wilson and Olave and maybe having more receptions. But I agree with Tony in terms of you get the ball in Jameson Williams' space and you just give him a little bit of space. He doesn't need a lot, and he's going to break a lot of big plays. So he could be that type of guy who, let's just base it off of a 9-game regular season. Maybe put the over-under at like 40 to 42 catches or whatever. I like maybe a little bit above that. But, I mean, he's going to have a ridiculous amount of yards per completion, in my opinion. But in terms of just, if you're looking at receptions or whatnot, I don't know. I think one of the freshmen is really going to just come through. And I like G. Scott maybe to be that guy. And that's not to take anything away from Jackson Smith and Jigba or Julian Fleming or whatnot. But everything I've heard about G. Scott Jr. has just been amazing at this point. And, we'll see what happens against real competition or whatnot. And I think it's, again, a situation once we get through the first couple games of the season, Ohio State kind of gets into a little bit of calmer waters at that point, and that's going to be an opportunity for some big numbers to be put up.
If we're talking like the third leading receiver, I think you could also put Jackson Smith and Jigba in there because he's going to be in the slot, and that's where a lot of the catches go for Ohio State's for Ohio State. We go back to 2018 where Paris Campbell had 90 catches and KJ Hill had like 70 or 72, and they shared reps in the slot. So there are going to be opportunities. And Jackson Smith and Jigba for me is he could be the best freshman receiver at Ohio State in a long time, and that's with what Garrett Wilson did last year with 30 catches and what David Boston did in 1996 with like 33 catches. And those are the two best. And I don't know that he's going to be able to get there because of the shortage. But in this pass-happy offense that we have now at Ohio State, he could be a guy who maybe he does catch 28, 32 balls and is the third leading pass catcher. But I still think it's going to be Jameson Williams in there as that number 3 guy. Chris Olave probably 45 catches, something like that, and I think Garrett Wilson will lead the Buckeyes in receptions, just because that position always does. The only time it hasn't since the Urban Meyer era started, the only time the slot hasn't led the team in receptions was with Michael Thomas in 2014 and 2015. So you can kind of understand that one.